Hi, everybody. It's just Kim again. I wanted to come on live tonight for a couple different reasons. Two, the first reason is because last time I went live, you guys were so gracious and wonderful. And I got to tell you, I can't even begin to thank you how wonderful that was. And for those of you who private messaged me and had some things going on, I hope that you are doing well. I also wanted to go live tonight because I wanted to introduce you to a friend of mine. Oh, there she is right there. There's my friend Lisa. And the reason I wanted to introduce Lisa to you is, one is, let me give you a little background. Lisa and I, about 6 years ago, right? I started the blogging group 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I started this blogging group for older women because all the young bloggers and influencers out there were all in their, 21, 24, whatever. And we just didn't quite fit that mold. And so we were kind of looking for our place in the world of the World Wide Web and the internet and no social media. So we started this group, which got a few hundred people, and it was really exciting. And we were all helping each other with our works, and we were getting affiliates and doing all this kind of stuff. And then tragedy hit my life, and I kind of dropped off the map. I wasn't in the mood to write. I wasn't in the mood to do anything. And unbeknownst to me, Lisa had also gone through a huge tragedy in her life as well. So she had dropped off the map also. We were still dabbling in social media and doing that kind of stuff, which fortunately we were still friends on social media. And about the same time, we both started on this journey to grow, to leave behind what had hurt. I have this theory with healing. I hate that word when people say I'm healing for 12, 15 years, because I always imagine you're pulling off that Band-Aid and opening that scab up. I don't feel like we're healing anymore. I feel like we're growing. Do we have scars? Yes, we do. We all have scars, but we are growing and changing and evolving. And Lisa and I both kind of wanted better health, better mental health, all this kind of stuff. So we reconnected with each other, and we had still never met each other in person. It's always only been on social media, which that's the good thing with social media. But the great thing was we got to actually get together. Unfortunately, I was sick, and God love Lisa. She took care of me and everything. We went to a convention in August in Atlanta, Georgia, and neither one of us had been there. And we had a considering I was sick, I had a wonderful time. I hope Lisa had a wonderful time too. But it was a wonderful time to connect. But I brought Lisa on because Lisa is a super soulful person. She's inspiring, and she helps keep me grounded as well. She also runs some really great little programs where she can help you for free. It's just online, and it's not like a course you have to take or anything like that. But I think right now you're doing the Mind Reset group, and I'm going to let you, Lisa, I don't have to all tell you, jump in here and tell everyone about
You're
you, Lisa.
doing great. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tell everyone about you and your program, because it's such a valuable program for people.
Thank you. It's just my 30-day mindset reset challenge, and it came about, sprung up, I guess, because of the turmoil and my own journey, everything that I've learned in the last 3 years about myself and about healing, but mostly about growing, and how our mindset and what we think really matters. It makes a difference. It sets the tone for our day. Every single day, it really affects our lives. And so I just kind of came up with this 30-day mindset reset challenge as a simple way. And I say simple way because I'll give you little prompts or ask little questions that cause you to hopefully stop and think and ponder for a moment about what are your mindsets. Are there toxic thought patterns? Are there, are you a victim to negative thinking, whatever? And it's designed to take just a few minutes per day. You can make it take a longer time if you want to sit and meditate and do some self-reflection. But it really, hopefully my questions and my prompts are thought-provoking enough to get you to really look at yourself and to go introspective, but to inspect your own mindset, the way that you look at things. Why do we do the things that we do? My kids, they're adults, but sometimes they just go, why are you the way you are? We do that as a joke with each other. Like if you do something silly or ridiculous, why are you the way you are? But And so I kind of, in my mind, that's kind of what I'm doing. So I keep it, I want it to be uplifting and edifying, and for it to be a safe place where we can come together and share those feelings and those thoughts and even our ideas. For instance, yesterday I asked about triggers. What is something that triggers you go down the rabbit hole of negative thinking? And then today we'll stop and think about that, dig deep for a minute. And how can you redirect those thoughts? When you know you're being triggered, first of all, recognizing the trigger and then redirecting those thoughts. So even though the questions are simple and your answers can be quick and simple, and some people don't really even share, they just go on there and read the question or, the prompt for the day. But it's designed to really just to get you to think and to hopefully progress and grow, like Kim said, and to change your thought processes into a more positive process. Because one of the biggest and most resounding lessons that I've learned is that we have to know and believe in our own value and our own worth. And once we do that, we begin to make better choices for ourselves, for our own lives. And how we think about things, our perception and perspectives and thoughts are huge. They play a huge part in that. And so, that's how this 30-day mindset reset was born, just because as I started implementing certain things, I do journaling. You don't have to do a journal, but and I'll write down my thoughts and like, oh, well, why did you have that thought? And then I'll do a little cross-examination of myself. Right. But it helps because it helps me get to the root of why do I do that? Why am I the way that I am? So.
Well, that's exactly true. And I think also, like I said, once you've gone through, I sit back and I watch a lot of these young people who act like their lives are over and they've had very basic catastrophes, whether it be car accidents or, just things not going right in their day, and they act like the world is coming to an end for them. And I think if we can be mindful and help some of the young people as well to stop thinking that way, that life is this incredible journey. And that's why I like your program, is that it makes you really think about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why are you wasting time on things that just don't matter.
Yeah, part of my background is I homeschooled my 3 children. And when they got to like high school, well, I don't know, junior high school, I always gave them the option, do you want to still homeschool next year? Or do you want to go, to public school? It was entirely up to them. And they all chose to homeschool all the way through, minus my son. He took some classes like woodworking and some elective classes at the local high school. But I don't know, because I was going through my own paradigm shift in my own personal life and my thoughts and beliefs. And we were sitting there one day, and I don't know, I'd given the instruction for whatever we were doing, but something one of my kids said, and I do think it was my son, I have 2 daughters and a son in the middle, that made me stop and think for a minute. And it made me think about, well, why do you kids believe certain things that you believe? Is it because that's what you've been told? Is that because that's how you've been raised? And so I kind of did this lesson plan around that, because what I wanted was my kids to be able to stop and think and reason and know why they believe what they believe, why they have the reactions that they have to whatever comes up in life, kind of like what you were just saying. But on the other side of that, now in the last 3 years, looking at my own generation and looking at how we were raised and some of the things that we were taught, that also set the tone for a lot of us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some of the things that we believe, and there's some toxic thought patterns there too that we were taught. So my thing is, every single one of us, I don't care how old you are, has something to learn about themselves, right? Again, why are we the way that we are? And once we understand ourselves, it just changes how we approach life, how we approach our relationships, how we show up in the world. And I know it's made a huge difference for me. And it took really something tragic. My husband passing away, my kids were grown, my husband passed away, and I was like, who am I? What am I doing?
Right.
What do I do with myself?
Right.
I had the existential crisis, right? And so that is, I came back to myself. That is one of the things that I talk about a lot is, stepping into your power,
Right.
becoming who you are meant to be, but not so much, or not only that, but actually returning to yourself.
Or
Because I think
finding a new self. And I think that's for me with a lot of it too, because when I lost my family, technically, I lost every dream that I had. So I had to reevaluate.
Right.
I don't have the grandkids that I knew I was going to have and run after and chase and do fun stuff with. I'm never going to have those dreams that I had. So I had to really reevaluate what I was going to do with myself and what my purpose was, because you get to a point where you're like, I have no purpose in life. What am I doing here? I've got no purpose. No one understands me. I don't know what to do with myself. And I think you really have to reflect on how valuable, like you said, you are to yourself, and not only yourself, but to other people, and what you do have to offer other people, because we have value, and we can help other people, and we can offer other things to other people, and we can be happier, even though we think that happiness is never going to happen again. I have a friend right now who lost her son just 2 weeks ago, and she said, does it ever end? And I told her, no, it never ends. That feeling never goes away, but it changes. Right. And you change, and your life changes, and like I said, you grow, and you move to different things. You don't ever move on, but how, like you said, that reaction, how we have to things, how we think about things that we're doing, and how we react to other people, and how we can benefit ourselves and other people.
Right. And when we learn how to find that within us, see our own value, we all have something valuable to offer to the world. I believe that every single human being on the planet does. Now, whether we choose to do that or not is up to us. Whether we choose to show the good parts of us or the ugly parts of us, that's up to us. And I'm pretty transparent. I show mostly the good stuff, but when I'm having an off day, I'll say, blah. Yeah. And but the things that need work, I do the work. And so because I believe that, as humans, we are created, or we're here to have those interactions with each other. And like you were saying, as wives, moms, parents, whatever, okay, we have this role that we have fulfilled for so many years. And then when that's taken away from us, what's left? Yeah. And so that's where we have to dig deep, and we have to go, okay, I have another purpose, right? I still have purpose.
Absolutely. And it's so sad to see people who feel they don't have purpose, and I have through the years gotten messages through the blog when I've written about things in the family and online, who feel they have zero purpose in life. And that makes my heart break. It just makes me so sad, because life is this very short little adventure that we're on, and to waste it not feeling valued, not valuing yourself. Because if you don't value yourself, nobody else is going to value you either. Exactly. And if I have people who say, well, I'm just not comfortable doing something, you have to push through those things. I mean, the fact of it is, there's 3 rules in life. If you want something, you have to go after it. If you never ask the question, it's always going to be no. And if you don't step outside of your comfort zone and your box, you're always going to be the same. And I see people on social media, and I'm older than you are, people my age, I'm like, you still don't have a clue, about changing and doing things that are going to benefit you, and they don't. They're stuck in this spot of self-pity, and that's a really easy place to get stuck in. I mean, I was there for a little while. Sure. I think you were there for a little while, and but you got to jump outside of that box and find what's going to make you feel good. And I always say, you're responsible for the air you bring into the room. You're responsible for the air you bring into the world, because people are going to treat you exactly the way that you think you deserve yourself to be treated.
Exactly.
So treat yourself well.
Yeah, exactly. And that circles back to that, knowing your own value and your own worth. If you're here on the earth, you have worth. Yes. And you are valuable. And even though life changes, things change, and things don't always go the way that we hope or planned or think that they will, there is still something to be gained and to be learned. That's the way I see it. Life is a journey of continuous learning.
Exactly.
I had this analogy drop down to me during some quiet time. This was years ago. And I was just sitting and thinking, and again, I think I was just really having a shift in a lot of things in my thought processes. And I heard stagnant water breeds disease. And I was like, oh yeah.
Yep.
So if the water's not constantly stirred or moving, it becomes a cesspool of rotten disease.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that is the same of us, of people, of humans, especially with our thoughts. If you think today the same as you did 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even last year, that's a stagnant,
Yes.
repeating
Yes.
behavior and thought process, and it can very easily become poisonous to your well-being,
Right.
to your emotional and your mental health. And everything is physiological, so it affects your physical health and vice versa.
Right.
So if we don't take responsibility for our own selves, thoughts, health, everything, who's going to? No one else is going to do it for you.
No one's going to rescue you.
No. And so flipping that paradigm of, I can sit and be sad, and going through tragedy is you have to process it all. But here's what happened to me, like in this last year. I woke up one day and I was like, I am so freaking tired of being sad. And that was it for me.
I'm done.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to be sad anymore.
Yep.
And so, but that meant that I had to take the steps to not be sad.
Right.
I couldn't just magically not be sad anymore. I wish that it worked that way, but we don't grow if it worked that way, right? So I began to say, okay, so what do I need to do to not be sad? Well, when I feel sad, acknowledge it, feel it for a minute, and then what can you do to move on and away from that? And, so that, again, that's where the 30-day mindset reset challenge came from too. Just like, we are in control of ourselves. We are not in control of anybody else.
Well, we've said that before. Is life controlling you, or are you controlling your life?
Right.
And I hate that expression, I'm going to go with the flow. Who wants to go with the flow? I don't want to be controlled by all those pushing me along. I want to take control of my life and determine what I want to do with it.
Right.
I mean, when I packed up my life and moved 2,600 miles to a place I'd never been before, to a house I'd never even seen, I think people thought I'd lost my mind. And maybe I had, but that's okay, because you know what? We made that decision. It was the best decision for us, and it's been wonderful. So you don't have to take as drastic of measures to, for your life, but it's fun.
It is.
I mean, I picked up and moved overseas before, not even knowing where I was going. I remember when we got the assignment in the Philippines, I was like, I don't even know where that is. Where is that? I don't know. Who cares? I'm near.
Going.
Leave your coach at home.
Yeah. And that's great. So I think, I've shared this before on my social media pages, but I heard one time. Did I read it? I heard it. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But everything is rooted in one of two things, either fear or love. And at the time, and this was a long, long time ago, I thought, well, that's BS, because there's a lot of in between, which was odd because I was a very black and white person at the time, but, but I thought it was crap. But, over the years, I began to see the validity of it, because we either move from a place, we're motivated from a place of either fear or love. I believe that. Whether it's, self-doubt, that's fear. Self-love, that's love. And so it takes just as much effort and energy to move from either one of those places, okay? Fear keeps us afraid, and doing the scary things is scary and can tempt us to be afraid, like paralyze us in fear. But man, I had my much rather step out and just do it. And you know what? We think of our culture teaches about failure. Well, you know, what if you fail? I don't believe in failure.
No,
I
failure
believe that
is just a lesson.
there are lessons and there are
Yeah.
blessings. And if it doesn't work out, so what? At least you tried. And with whatever it is, I totally believe that. I subscribe to that 100%. And so, but I lived in a place of fear, and this is something I've learned about myself for most of my life. I had traumas from birth, from the womb, which really, I was born into a fearful situation. And so I lived all of my life up until the last year in fear. I love hard, I love 100%, and I do everything from a place of love, but that even that love was motivated by fear. And when I realized that, it was like, wow, okay, you need to flip something around here. And so that's what I've been doing. And what an amazing, liberating experience that is, right, Kim?
Yeah, your
Kim
transformation's been huge.
And Kim too. I mean, Kim has every reason to sit and feel sorry for herself and to live from a place of fear. You know, if you know Kim's story, you know that, you know, she takes care of her 40-year-old son. He needs 24-hour, 7 days a week care. She is his primary caregiver. I don't know that you ever get a break, woman.
I got one right now. This is it.
But you know, you could feel sorry for yourself and you could live in fear. You could be like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, how miserable would you be if you were doing that?
I know people that way. And that's along my journey, you know, I have met people who can't find their way out, and it is just heartbreaking. And that's why doing this and talking and hoping to open some dialogue for people that they can reach out to someone they know. I mean, I know so many people feel alone and they feel that there's nobody understands. And you're right. Nobody understands your situation unless they've gone through it themselves. Right. Nobody does. But there are people who have very sympathetic ears. They have good ideas, good suggestions, and they're out there. And I just encourage people, like I said, life is too short to live in fear. Life is too short to live in pain. Life is too short to not be the very best self that you can possibly be, because it's pretty freaking awesome when you wake up and go, I'm growing, here I go.
Yeah, exactly. And just remember that even if you only help one person, well, it's not going to happen, because you're going to help way more people. Your existence affects more than just one person. But even if you were some sort of light or positive in one person's life, can that be enough for you? Isn't that worth it? And I had to bring it down to that very simplistic of terms for myself, but then realize I myself am that person, right? Absolutely. I am enough for myself. I'm enough for myself, and so therefore I have value. Yeah. And exactly. And then now I am able to bring my best and most authentic version of myself, and I'm still evolving and growing, but now I'm able to bring that into my relationships and into everything that I do. And you know, not everyone's going to resonate with us, and that's okay. And that is the people who resonate. Who do stay, and the ones who don't, and that's the same with us. We you know, we go and we connect with people that we resonate with, and that's the way, I believe that's the way it's meant to be. And that doesn't mean, you know, you just wish everybody else well and you move on and you go with your, it was really popular there for a while, find your tribe. Yeah. You know, you do that and then you go on and everyone goes on their merry way.
You should never keep the negative people around. I mean, if people can't be positive in your life and they're, you know, negative gets negative. That's just the way it is. And if you've got people around you who are sad all the time or stressed all the time or all this kind of stuff, and you try to help them and it just doesn't work, there comes a time when you have to be able to turn it off and say, okay, I've done what I can do. I'm here if you need me, and move on your way and go. Because it, you know, soul drainers, they're out there, you know. But I think, how long we've been on here, Lisa? I didn't want to keep everyone too long.
You know what? My timer's not showing with the dual screen. Yes, we've been on at 25 minutes. So guys, if you want to, Lisa's business page is on here. And like I said, she does her little things, her little mindset resets and other challenges she does for free. They're absolutely wonderful. Go and follow her page and follow us. Like I said, we have information about health, about skincare, about all kinds of wonderful things.
we're here. And I just, again, thank all of you so much for following me.
Yes.
It's been such an amazing couple weeks, the growth and the questions and the things that people have come up with. It's been like a little overwhelming, actually. But I so appreciate it. Lisa, I'm so glad you joined me on here today. Let's do this again soon.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
I
all of you.
appreciate you.
But I appreciate you.
All right, guys, we love you.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.